Hey everyone, Team Happy and Fit, you're the bomb.com. Thanks for being on this call. Ashley Mahaffey, Sarah and I love her. One, two, she is just so direct, but has built such a successful business. She's a lifetime 6-star diamond. I don't know, we've been collaborating a lot and it's been really fun, and just getting to pick apart your brain and just know your hustle is so like Sarah and I's. And before we get started, I was telling Sarah, I was like, dang, I was reading my book today and it was talking about competence, that the reason people feel inadequate in life, self-conscious in life, and feel like they're not good at something is because of the lack of competence. With coaching, being on these Zooms, being in these trainings, it's going to give you competence. It's going to give you confidence to fight through those obstacles because it's going to teach you on what to do. And I just thought it was so awesome to read that, because I said that's definitely the truth. I think a lot of coaches quit because they feel incompetent. So what Ashley's going to deliver to you guys today is going to be gold. So writing it down and implementing it. And then on a side note, Sarah wanted to do a shout out, so a couple shout outs. So we'll take like a couple minutes and then you can go ahead, Sarah.
Yeah, I just want to shout out everybody in Rock the Business. You know, we started a new training for our team. Last month was like kind of the pilot month to start that off. And we definitely have a ton of coaches in there. And, you know, Julianne and I, when we joined, we went through the trainings, and that's what we recommend is get on those trainings, get on as many calls as you can. If you miss calls, catch the recording. Team Cup, you know, if you weren't able to get on a Team Cup, I mean, still push like you are. And if you are on a Team Cup, reach out to whoever the leader is on your team if you need more help with inviting or what exactly you should be doing. I know we have Team Cup bingo going on our team page, so definitely participate in those things. Make it a goal to help at least 3 to 5 people this month. We have an ongoing sneak peek this month, so it's a little bit different than it has been where we've had the 2 sneak peeks and then it's on a certain date. So right now we have an ongoing one. It is set up. You can find it in our team page. And basically what you need to do is, as you're having conversations with people and you ask them if they've ever thought about coaching and they say, sure, I'll check it out, let them know that you're going to be sending them an invite to the sneak peek event page. They accept the invite. As soon as they do that, I go in there and I tag them under the videos. And I am very specific on, there are 3 videos that you're going to need to watch. I will tag you in each of them. When you're done watching them, let me know, or I'll say, like, you know, do you think you would be able to finish watching them by Friday? Kind of give them a little bit of a deadline to when you're going to follow up with them, and then go from there, because all the information is laid out for you. So especially if you're a new coach and you don't know how to talk about coaching, it's going to be all laid out in there by Julianne and myself, or even Julianne and I have been tagging people in there as well. So old coach, new coach, it doesn't matter. Definitely utilize that. And then if you're not quite sure how to start as a new coach, the National Wake Up Call, the last one, they just talked about running a free group. I know I have a brand new coach named Terry, and we're going to be running a 5-day free group for like teachers. And we're going to be sharing different, like, just quick meal plans, maybe some crock pot stuff that people can do when they're really overwhelmed with kids going back to school and teaching and all of those things, and still being able to eat healthy. So putting something like that together, I highly recommend. Thank you, honey. My husband made me dinner. Yeah, so those are announcements, but we have Ashley Mahaffey on the call. Julianne said she's a 6-star diamond. She's 3-time elite. She's Success Club 5 legend. So obviously she's done big things in this business. She knows what she's doing. She's on the San Diego Market Council, which is really cool. She's married. She has 2 children. I remember when I saw you in Beaver Creek, Ashley, you said you started when your kids were about my kids' ages. I was looking at, you like sent me this whole bio, and there's like more on there than I could ever say. But what I got that from that coach does your stuff. So it's really like a really cool thing that you get to be on this call. And then just some fun stuff. I said, tell me something fun about you. And she said she loves Shark Tank, she loves a good peach cobbler, and she loves Amazon Prime, which I'm down with that. I love Amazon Prime, is my jam. Anyways, okay, take it away.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Team Happy and Fit. You guys, I stalk you guys. You have no idea how much you guys have blessed my business and life in the last like 2 to 3 months. So I just want to share with you that from my heart, I feel super, super confident that you guys are aligned with some of the best, 2 of the best leaders in all of Team Rockstar Fit, but really out in the whole network. I mean, I've been like they said, like Sarah said, I've been around almost 6 years. It will be at the end of November. And I have seen a lot of leaders come and go, and I've seen a lot of people lead with enthusiasm and firepower, but really not with heart or not with caring so much about people, and they're just caring more about numbers, or they're caring more about people, and it's all the relationship stuff, and they really don't drive the numbers. These 2 girls, they work hard and they make it fun and they make community, and I'm learning from you. Julianne says, jump in my team page. I wanted to see some stuff, what you were doing. And I also am in your Shift Shop Motivation Happy and Fit July group. And I'm taking your daily posts that you're doing from the graphics that Beachbody has given you. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And I'm using them. And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that in my group. So I want to say, as someone that's been here a little bit longer, and obviously I'm a lot older, I'm 49, that I'm learning how to reinvent myself in different ways, and specifically with like my challenge groups right now, because I've never really rocked them, but right now I'm loving them. And so thank you so much. And again, you guys are with 2 of the best people. And Sarah and I have a special chilly relationship. Where is she? Oh, there she is. Yeah, it was so cool. I got to meet her in Beaver Creek for the first time. And we had, I can tell you, that girl pushed through some adversity, and it was so fun getting to meet you for the first time there. So, yeah, and Eric, I sat next to him, I believe, at the Team Rockstar Fit Day. So very cool. Thanks for letting me join you guys tonight. So I just gave Sarah 2 topics that I can speak on. And when I saw her graphic, I'm like, okay, that's the one that she chose. And so I'm going to speak a little bit more from my certification. I took 3 years ago, I got certified with Brendan Burchard to be one of his certified high performance coaches. There are about 300 of them that he's certified so far. And there are about 4 other people that have been Team Rockstar Fit coaches that have that certification. And I really just got it, you guys, to help my team out. And what I knew from it, what's happened that blindsided me, was that it actually helped my relationships with my family, my children, my coaches, and so I think it's super cool. I would just like, by a show of hands, how many people have ever have been through have been a coach for longer than a year? That would be a better question. Okay. And then any of those coaches, have any of you ever been to High Performance Academy? It's a live event. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right. So Julianne was just talking about how she was just reading, and I'm assuming that you're reading the charge, right? Okay, because you were talking, I'm like, that's like, okay. So what she was talking about, and I just drew this quickly when she was speaking, is there's a triangle here. Okay. And I'm going to just make sure that I'm going to refer to some of my notes here. So there's this thing right here. This is the infinity loop, right? You know this. And there's the confidence and competence loop. This is what he calls it, and this is what I call it, the confidence and competence loop. And when you have this, I'll explain the triangle in a minute. When you have, and I will be giving you a couple things that I'm going to talk about right now. What motivates us? what stops us and what's going to help make us most happy in life and in this business. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. What motivates us, what stops us, and what makes us most happy in this business. But because I go down on rabbit holes, I'm going to shoot with this first. And this is very important, this infinity loop. So when coaches come into this business, and if you've been in the business less than 4 months, raise your hand, or 5 months, 4 or 5 months, 6 months. Oh, okay, good, great, awesome for being on here. When you first come in, you might have pretty decent confidence, but your competency in this business and the skills that you need are low. And by the way, when you're looking at this, is this looking like it's written in reverse? Is the wording reversed? Okay, it is for me. So you might be, or you might just not have a lot of confidence, and you certainly don't have a lot of competence in this business. But so you're going to do this, guys. You're going to struggle. You will struggle. And so what you need to focus on, where's my dry erase? What you need to focus on is honoring the struggle. And here it is. So honoring the struggle is something that I even have a water bottle that says honor the struggle. And knowing that you're going to have to learn to get more competent. And as you take action, you're going to get more confidence. And it's just a cycle. Sometimes you're like, oh, this is, so when you reach a roadblock, has anybody had like a roadblock with a coach quitting, or a coach not panning out recently, or a challenger you thought she was gonna go for it and she just totally didn't follow through, or he didn't follow through with his pushing play or whatever, right? Okay, so this is the struggle that we're in. And all you need to do when you're getting this, when you're getting like beaten down daily, is just remember that mantra: honor the struggle. Oh, hi, struggle. Greet it. Like, I know this sounds goofy, but just say, this is the struggle. I'm just going to greet the struggle. Hey, struggle. That's all you are. I'm just going to push on past and just keep taking the next step so that I can, my C went away, so that I can become more confident. Okay. Now, the higher you, and we'll talk about this tonight, the higher you raise your ambition, and that's the triangle here, right here. If you can keep ambition high, keep your competency, you're always in the learning and taking action, and your confidence will be high. All right. So this is a triangle. You need to have these things that kind of, they work together. So that's this little success triangle. I can put that down, or you can ask me. Feel free to open your mics or whatever when you want to speak. I'm very informal. Okay, so on the there are 3 levels in motivating us to take action. And I know we're talking about clarity and vision, but I would assume, since you're all here and you've all had this great leadership, that you've had a GSR with your coach, and you've delved in a little bit to your why, and knowing that your why will change and you're going to develop it and that kind of thing. And I actually spoke with one gal that was thinking about coaching this morning, and she was talking about how, and her name is Angie, and she was talking about how she's kind of loses attention and focus on things. And she kind of gets excited and hot about something, and then she drops off, and she doesn't stay motivated. So I said, all right, just like you guys know, you need to have your why, you need to have your vision, and always revisiting those. And I'm sure Julianne and Sarah have mentioned how you can, I say to my coaches, once you've written that out, I actually say, speak it with enthusiasm from a place of standing and smiling, and then you can always play that back to yourself, your why and your vision. And your vision is like where you're going, and it's aligned to your values. Don't make it this big, like a difficult thing, and you got to go Google it and take your PhD on finding your vision, because that'll trip you up, you emeralds, or I think those are the blues. So what motivates us, there are 3 levels, right? First, you've got, and that's when most people come in this business, they have this spark. And the spark, I'm going to erase my little stuff here. The spark is like kind of the first level of motivation. And that what you're going to have when you have your spark is you're going to have, you're going to have two ingredients for the spark. Okay, the two ingredients are going to be your ambition, which we talked about. That's your desire, right? You're excited, you're coming in, and you have these expectations. I don't know if you can read my scribble. I kind of ran out of room over here, but spark and ambition and expectation. All right. And that's what's going to help you when you first get started. But that's great. But the next thing that you want to have is you're going to have the flame, right? Once you get it started, you got to have the flame. And that's going to be, this is where most people I find get tripped up. And that's going to be their attention and effort. All right. So it looks like this for you guys that are visuals like me. So you've got the spark. All right. And you've got ambition and expectations or expectancy. And then you move up on the ladder and you hit the flame. All right. This is where you're building momentum. All right. And to stay motivated, you need to have attention and effort. When you have attention and effort on something, then the momentum comes in. That's what like the Darren Hardy or the Jeff Olson stuff, the slight edge, you know? So, and then the thing that is going to keep that thing going, I know you want to know what the next thing is going to be, to keep it going on a bonfire level is, that will be the bonfire. Okay, from the spark to flame, is going to be your attitude and your environment. Okay, so I know I forgot to put the N in environment. So just I was an English teacher, so I know how to spell. So the Viktor Frankl. Here's a quote, and I wrote it down here on my little notes. The last of human freedoms is man's ability to choose his own attitude, right? And I know that you might have read or heard of Man's Search for Meaning. Amazing guy in a concentration camp, and he was able to maintain his mindset and keep hope and joy alive because he had an attitude that was like no one could put out, and that was he had his bonfire going, and he had his attitude and his effort on hope and joy. And so as coaches, for us to stay motivated, we need to stay in a place of constant reminding ourselves of the why, the vision, but we also have to be surrounded by people that are going to be uplifting to us. So staying plugged into Team Happy and Fit is key. How many coaches and challengers have you seen in your challenge groups have fallen off and their attitude gets sour, right? Or they haven't checked in like 2 weeks, and you might have messaged them or tagged them and stuff, but what's happened is their attention and effort has fallen off, and then they're starting to their attitude starts to change, and maybe they're around a negative environment at work, and the donuts are at the water cooler, and it's not, they're not staying motivated. So I'm going to pause right there and just see if anybody has any thoughts or just like anything else popping up right here.
What do you do? So first of all, this is all awesome because I am like, yep. Surround yourself with people who are constantly wanting to make you better. And I really think that when people stop plugging into the team page, they do the fade away. So what do you do to keep igniting this in your team? Do you talk about it in one-on-ones? Like, is there specific things that you say to them to re-engage them? Or what I find is that people will be like, yes, and then life hits and they're in the excuse making stage and you cannot make them come to things. So what are your tactics and techniques to re-engage?
Well, first, right. Okay. So I will tell you that I try to go and I have them self-evaluate. Where are you, like on a scale of 1 to 10? I use that a lot, you guys, and you can use that with your challengers. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how consistent have you been with your workouts? On a scale of 1 to 10, how consistent have you been in the last month showing up on team calls? On a scale of 1 to 10, how consistent have you been with reading 15 to 20 minutes of PD weekly over the last 3 to 4 weeks? I love that. if I didn't say how consistent have you been on doing your workouts, that's where I go first, right? I go first, workouts and the Shakeology. Okay. So I like to do that. And I also will have them, so the rating, I use rating a lot. And then I always follow up with a coaching question, which would be something like this. If you were to change one thing right now to help you move to the next level, say that they said that they would rate themselves like with their PD daily, like it's slipped to like a 6. What would that be? If you were to move it up to a 7, what would one thing? What would you have to do? What would one thing be that you could change? If you're not checking in with the team, you haven't been on team calls or that kind of thing. What would be one thing that you could change to move that up from a 6 to a 7? And just to tell you guys that are veteran coaches, or anybody with a challenger, like, oh, I've got my nutrition, it's a 10. Oh, come on, Julianne. You are so good. You could get that thing up a little bit higher. I know you got a next gear in you. What could you do, Julianne, with your fitness this week that could get it up a little bit higher than that 10? Because I know you're already a super achiever and you work out like a boss 5 times a day, 18 hours a day. So you're kind of challenging those reds to like, what else is in you? All right, so I'm going to talk about what stops us, and this is kind of really key. And feel free, I love it when you guys ask me questions that are applicable to the business, because I can easily flip that on. Not easily, but I'm pretty good at it. All right, so okay, 3 things stop us, and they're all bad. Okay, ready? 3 things: bad thinking, bad habits, and bad relationships. So in bad thinking, it's going to be like assuming. I see this a lot. Assumptions, like assuming, for example, this challenger, she called me out on something, and she assumed that I saw her email to me. It said, I'm completely frustrated, and if something doesn't change this week, I'm going to discontinue the plan after 4 weeks. And I didn't get the email because I've been away, but I could tell she assumed it, right? That's her bad thinking. I'm just giving you an example. Dread is bad thinking. I dread making these challenger calls or these invites, dread. I spent about 12 months in dread, you guys, between my 4th and 5th year in this business. And I did. And I can tell you it was bad thinking that was going on. So underneath bad thinking, it's going to be assumptions, and dread usually is what's happening with people. Bad habits, 3 things. And this is going back to this girl, Angie, she's a girl that I met from the UK. And I reached out to her, and we were chit-chatting, and she was talking to me this morning about how she starts on something hot. Remember I told you about this earlier, but then she's like, oh, I avoid it. I feel like I've got too much on my plate, and then I avoid it. Right? Well, the second thing about bad habits besides avoidance is overcommitting. So overcommitment and then the third part in bad habits is burnout. So if you're having bad habits, like you're pushing off, I can tell you myself, after I came back from the Punta Cana, I was like a little slacking with my workouts, right? So I was avoiding them. I had too many irons in the fire, and I was kind of burned out a little bit. I was like, what else do I want to do? Thank goodness Shift Shop came out. So, what is and I'll tell you how to get through all this stuff that stops you. The third thing, the other bad is bad relationships, guys. And there's a way that we can manage all this. Now, in relationships, it's going to be obliviousness. And as reds, we can be oblivious. And I'm a red. So, does your whole team, have they taken the color code? Pretty much, yeah. So if you haven't, reach out with your upline, mainly blues. Okay, so as I understand it, because I don't use the color code, I use something else. But the color code is a blue, like your accountants and your list followers, or are those the people that love relationships and they love like campfires and Birkenstocks, and blues are relationships. Okay, so the whites, are they list people generally, or no? Those are fun.
Whites, my husband's a white, like they just kind of, they're calm and like they just kind of do what the reds want them to do.
Okay, Eric, what are you?
Eric's a white.
I'm a white.
So Eric, do you do the budget in the house, or is Julianne the one that does it? Well, she's
I'm generally the one that looks at budgets and kind of figures it out. We both do it together, but
and you like making
I have to work off a list.
Okay,
yeah,
so you're white.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so I know the whites are okay, what they're like. So whites, you can come off as a little bit like sometimes, and I'm not saying Eric, I'm just saying, yeah, me too. My husband's got some white in it, and they can come off sometimes as just like not caring, or they don't get it, or like, hey, you know. So sometimes we just need to make sure, as we're in the different personalities, that we are conscious, and especially reds, we can sometimes mow over people. Bad relationships, when there's division is going to stop us. When there's division, we all know that when you've had people on your team and you might not have meshed, and there might have been some issues, and there's been division, it can stop you or stall you, and well, it can take your attention away for a second. But the other thing about relationships, bad relationships, is when there's someone in the relationship that has that feels like they're more superior, like reds. I'm telling you, like, we feel that we're better than people sometimes. And I don't care that, you know, you can be a Christian all you want, but you're human, people. And yeah, I'm talking to you. You know who I'm talking to. No, I don't know. Actually, I'm not talking to anybody, but I'm talking to myself. But it's true. Like, you know, like and all of that divisiveness and that superiority can stop us, right? That can stop us connecting with the hearts of our potential coaches, our current coaches, and our current challengers, and our potential new leads to invite those people. So those are the things: bad thinking, bad habits, and bad relationships are what stop us in growing. And the dread, has anybody been in the dread and the bad thinking? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes when you've been in the business as well a little bit longer, you know, when you first start out, you're going to imitate people. That's the one thing I want to tell you. And that's okay for newer coaches, but that can lead to bad thinking as far as applying all this to coaching. So you want to start developing your voice, and you want to imitate. I don't know, maybe your leaders would tell you otherwise, but I get it. You know, you kind of want to imitate as far as like, you know, you want to post something about workouts and you want to imitate the vital behaviors stuff, but you don't want to be a copycat. And after you kind of get the flow and the vibe of it all, I was talking to this girl, Angie. She's like, I was in this Young Living, some other kind of MLM. I've never heard of it, but and she said all they wanted to do was post like that their life was perfect and they were all happy. And she's like, that was so cookie cutter. And I didn't want to, you know, she said, I didn't want to imitate. And I'm like, that's great. You know, so as coaches, we want to make sure that just because somebody else might be doing something and Julianne posts certain ways, that might not be your jam. You know, you got to listen to your own voice and find your own voice, and you have to be creative, because when we create, it just puts a little bit more of the bonfire and the flame going. Does anybody want to speak to any of that stuff about what stops us with bad thinking, bad habits, or bad relationships?
That is so good, and I hope someone else speaks out. But I was even thinking with the copycat thing or whatever and not having a voice, I think it really leads to comparison as well, because if everyone's doing the same thing and they see it working for someone else and not them, then that's going to lack the competence part and confidence, because it's going to be like, oh, it's working for them and not me. But truly it's like that person found their voice and has connected to the tribe, and you have to really ask yourself, like, who am I? And then that's what's going to make you successful. That was huge.
I like that. Yeah, you're right. It's going to honor the struggle. The more you delay that struggle, the worse it's going to be, and the more you're going to stay in the dread of the bad thinking. So go ahead and lean into that struggle. Hey, struggle, and just start figuring it out yourself, because you'll get it. Either you're going to have engagement or you're not on your post. Okay, so moving from what stops us to let's move what gives us joy in this business and what makes us most happy as people and as husbands, as wives, as friends, as mothers, as daughters, as sons and brothers, and all those relationships we got going on. So there are three, let's see, let me just relate this a little bit more to Beachbody here. So when you're thinking about how you're, a lot of coaches come into this business and thinking that they're not going to be able to be successful because they had a kind of a nasty past, or they have failed maybe in another MLM in the past. I don't know if that's relatable to any of you guys, or if you've heard that from anybody, or maybe someone in their past has told them that they're not good enough, or they're not going to, you're not going to amount to it. Especially a spouse that's skeptical. My husband was skeptical for sure for probably 2 years. And Eric's laughing. My husband's a white too. But he was like, yeah, go ahead. But you didn't do that thing. You didn't really hit it big in your Melaleuca business. So what? And he did. And I say this and people think that he's a schmuck, but he's not. He's like, what makes you think that you're going to do and he's so blunt, he doesn't even understand that. I was just like, oh, that's Mark speaking, but he loves me. But he was saying, honey, you did that Melaleuca thing but you only made 1 month, $500. How do you think that this, what's going to make this work? And I'm like, wow, that kind of shot me for a second. And then I'm like, And so I had to accept the past. And that's the one thing that when you're thinking about what makes you happy, you got to address the past in a little bit and just say, how that's okay. I might've really stunk back then because I did not like cleaning products and showing people how to use I was not passionate about that. And I told him, I go, that's it. I wasn't passionate about my cleaning products or, that makeup that they have there. That's not me. I said, what I am passionate about is health and fitness and nutrition. And I love that piece. It changes our hormones and he's like, okay, you got it. I'm just, that's great. Now you run with that. So I was like, yeah, but I had to accept that, you guys. We have to accept how our past and what it was and just be okay with that. And then how do we want our life to look like now as a Beachbody coach? And this ties back into the clarity piece. Right? How do we want to look? How do we want to show up in our days? And we have to be clear about that as far as that how we want it now is not going to be how it was back then, unless you've got the perfect life and you're just kind of doing this as this. I don't know. That's not the case. Nobody would be on here for that. Your life might be great, but there's always another level. Remember, we were talking about that. Okay, so. Satisfaction, we need to be satisfied. And this for you Reds out there, I'm going to say this. We are so driven and, superheroes were made for us. Bon Jovi, I think that Bon Jovi started playing for me, that I'm telling you, we love the thrill of pushing forward and driving hard and achieving the biggest, fattest mountains. And I'm going to share this with you. After my first summit, I signed up at the end of October, the 1st of November of 2011. And 2012, I go to Summit in June. I'm like, yeah, whatever, going to. It changed my business, by the way. Who has not been to Summit? Okay. Timing, I'm sure you just came in and you didn't know. You get a hall pass, but you figure it out and budget it, because when I went to Summit and I was like, all right, you know, I kind of was hitting Success Club a little bit, came back, but I had helped enough people get started that I got a message from corporate, and the guy was the lowest regional guy, and he was new, and he's like, you're on track to hit this thing called Elite. And I'm like, okay, what is that? And it was an email, by the way. If you want me to work with you, I will help you. I'm like, of course, Red. Yeah, tell me what it is. So I get on the phone with him. He's like, yes, we'll get you on track to hit it the following year. And I'm like, what? I've got 6 more months and you just told me what it is. Now, you know, I'm like, I'm going to do it now because you told me like I couldn't do it, basically, by saying that you're going to set me up for the next year. So that was the first year that I hit it. And my point is, I don't think that I enjoyed the journey. All right. And I love what Trina says. Trina Gray says, celebrate the inches. Even in my garage gym, I wrote 3 things in my kids' sidewalk chalk on the drywall, the painted drywall. So it's a little bit finished, I guess, out there. But Mark hasn't said anything, so I'm going to keep writing. And it says, celebrate the inches, because we could be pushing through and seeing like, gosh, oh my gosh, these people have done so much. How am I going to, don't compare, but also just think, you showing up on this call tonight, that's like, I would say, give yourself about 5 inches right now, right? If you can get a foot in one day, you did your workout and your Shakeology, that's 7 inches. So did you talk to a challenger? Did you make some invites? Right there, you can get up to 12 inches and then your PD, you're done, right? Celebrate the inches. So we need to make sure that we're satisfied with what happened yesterday and move on to today, because the present being what makes us most happy in the present is, so in the past, I would say there are 3 areas about what makes us happy: the past, the present, and the future. So in the past is accepting what it was and how would I like my life to be like now, and then being satisfied with the journey. In the present, this is where we need to be a lot of the time, you guys. Otherwise, it's going to suck us down and we're going to move back to those bad habits, the avoidance and the dread. Making sure that we're expressing ourselves in our posts with our coaches, with our team, sharing that word. If anything, I would say what makes us most happy is when we share. So I'm not a big, I'm not really great at doing all of the opening my guts up on social media, but I'm okay with that. Like, that's okay with me. Like, I'll do some things, but when I'm with my team, 5 or 6 years ago, I pissed people off. Now, I don't think I really do. I think I really scared people when I first came into this business. I was so red. I don't think that there was another color in my crayon box. So, but I've had to soften myself and learn those other colors. But sharing and connecting is going to be the thing that's going to help you be most happy. Connection with others is what's going to make us most happy. The other question that you can ask yourself when you're going into any meeting or any call or anything that's going to help you avoid the dread and all that bad thing and everything like that, but it's going to make you happy, is to say, what type of energy am I bringing into this call, this Zoom, this email, this video that I'm about to shoot? What type of energy am I bringing to this? That thing right there, that question right there, I don't know why it hits me right now. And I've said this 1,000 times, but right there, that kind of hit me right now. What kind of energy are you bringing? I have a coach on my team, love her. She's very capable, amazing, hit Success Club. She's very, very white. And when she shoots her videos, and again, I do a different diagnostic on personalities and stuff like that. But when she shoots her videos, she talks like this, and I really am excited about you to join my challenge groups. We're working on it. She's definitely progressing. She needs to not shoot videos. But I'm like, you've got to bring more energy. Like, smile, stand up. Walk outside. I stage my videos. I'm like, all right, I'm going to move from here and I'm going to walk out my door and I'm going, not all the time, but yeah, But I think about, all right. And I'm like, come with me. And then I'll do like this and I'll start walking around, not too far because my Wi-Fi is not that great here, but, that's going to help you stay present, stay happy in the present, is bringing in the energy and sharing and connecting. As far as what's going to make you happy, looking forward to the future, because when you're in the muck and it's really hard and some coach just quit or a challenger quit, what's going to really help you looking forward to the future is you're great remembering and reminding yourself of your great relationships that you have, the freedom that you have in your fitness and nutrition, right? Maybe you don't have the freedom yet of your schedule because you're still working that job where this girl that I was talking to, she's like, I'm working 50 hours a week wearing the same black trousers and I've just got to try on a different white blouse and I sit behind a desk every day. I hate that. I'm like, I know, but you've got freedom because you're now working out and pushing play and you're drinking your Shakeology, right? That's a freedom right there. And celebrating the achievements, that's another inch, but you've got to look forward to the future and start accumulating those inches. So what I'm going to stop right now because I don't even know what time it is. Let me just see. I need to plug myself in. I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to kind of get some feedback, or I want you guys to ask me any questions because I really kind of wanted to stop there. And then I'm going to stop there. Oh, lots of questions. I hope it. Okay. Okay, you guys are going in about your color codes here. That's awesome.
Ashley, why did you get into Beachbody initially? Was it because you wanted to make an income? Like I know that's why I got into this. Mm-hmm. And so I loved when you talked about connection, because I got into this to make an income, but then I had no idea I was going to get all these friendships. And like Julian's my best friend. And then I've met all these like amazing women that are now really close to me. So I feel like that's what's kept me here and everything. So I thought it was, I was just curious why you initially got in.
Yeah. So I got into Beachbody because Trina and Vito and I were all in a mastermind of fitness professionals with this guy and who was a fitness professional. And Trina went to this summit one year. She hated it. She came home early, right? I think you might, right. I don't know. I think she's told us. Yeah. So then she I don't know what made her all excited to ask Vito to do it. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. And so he did. And then he joined, and I think it was about 6 months later, we were at a mastermind retreat in Laguna, and they both came up to me, Ash, you got to join. And I'm like, what? And I didn't for a while. You know why? Because I didn't want to let them down. And I told them, I go, V, I don't want to let you down, man. Because they're like, okay, strategically, this is where you should go. You should go underneath Vito. And then, you know how the volume works. I'm like, that's fine. So I'm like, dude, I don't want to let you guys down. I go, I really, really sucked at Melaleuca, and then USANA, and then at Advocare, which I didn't like the products because they're not.
You did all those.
oh yeah. USANA, Advocare, Melaleuca, I'm sure I did something else. I don't know. 2 others at least, probably. But I used them with my personal training business. Although I did see the coolness of network marketing in general. I thought it was pretty cool, and I actually didn't know much about it until I went on a Eric Worre. Do you guys read the GoPro in your team?
I've read it personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I went on he had a retreat, and about 40 people in different network marketing companies went. And when I went there, I was like, wow, this is super cool. I love this. Are you kidding me? I go, I can work my 5 hours a week. This was back when I first kind of started, 5 or 10 hours a week. And then at Diamond, you got your 8 other people. They are working 5 to 10 hours a week. That's a massive amount of hours. That's like a 90-hour week, and I could not even do that by myself. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. I like this. And I'm going on about something else. That's how I got in. Trina and Vito, they brought me in, and then I started saw the value in recruiting right away. So I came in for the money. I came in for the business. And I also saw that I could use the nutrition products with my existing personal training and boot camp. I had owned 2 boot camps, the clients. But you know what? That really, I don't know, maybe if there's any guys trainers, but I didn't really blow it up with my clients. I blew it up with people outside. I don't have one person from one of my boot camps that's a coach. I have one that is she buys Shakeology every once in a while. But all those people, no. So you don't need boot camp is my point to grow your business.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that, one thing that I would say is to always take in, I think, does Trina do like the Wheel of Life or anything like that? Or does she do, at the Diamond Retreat, did she do anything where you evaluate your fitness, your nutrition, your relationships?
Yes.
Did she do anything like that? Okay. I can't remember. But, so I would say that thing that I'm sure you taught your team before, those areas, the 8 areas of health. Okay, 6 roles. Okay, those are 6 roles of life and 6 roles. Yeah. So I actually threw, oh, wait a minute, Julianne, I think you were the girl that said, were you the one that stood up and you were talking about the 6 roles as a coach at the table in our big round table at Diamond Retreat?
Maybe.
I think you did.
I stood up at one point.
Yeah. So your 6 roles as a coach. All right. I think that would be very cool this is what you guys would do with this on a weekly basis. In this role in my area of, I don't know, connecting with my coaches. I forget whatever your 6 roles are. How am I on a scale of 1 to 10 this past week? How would I rate myself, right? Rate yourself in those 6 roles every Sunday night, or I used to do them on Wednesday mornings with my coaches. And it's awesome because you can then from there take the lowest score, say that you've been really bad at inviting, you give yourself like a 3, right? And then, just a 3. So how can I get it to a 4? Okay, I'm going to and then you set whatever your thing is. And then you go after that like a beast. Don't worry about the other 5. Just do that thing, right? And then the next week you do the same thing, the rating on 1 to 10, and pick a low one. If it's the same thing, same one, then what is one thing that you can change to improve it and move it up? And eventually you will move it up, because remember we talked about when you put your effort and attention on something, that thing will grow. So I just want to let you guys know that if I would be happy to come on your team call again, and but I've been so grateful that you've let me jump on your call and share the last hour with you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ashley. This is great. I took a ton of notes.
Great. Okay. Can I just say like a side little note? This is totally unrelated to everything. I want to share with one thing. I always like to leave people with something that is working for me right now. So I want to share with you one thing that's working with me right now. So you know how we got that BOD email on the 19th of July, and you know what to do with that list. And if you don't have a BOD email, but you are getting a new customer in your business, right? Or it might be somebody, you can use it with all these situations. It might be somebody that has liked a post and actually reached out to you, or maybe didn't reach out to you. But but you want to get into private message with them, this is what has been working for me. I have been using this like a boss. So it's been like this. I will do this. I will be, and I got this from Tulin Emery. And so maybe you know this, Julianne. It's been like this. I'll shoot a video, and I'll shoot on my iPhone, and I'll hold this thing in front of it, and I'll be like this. Hi, Sarah. You don't know me, but I'm your coach. Beachbody assigned us to be friends and to take care of each other. So I have been a coach for the last 5 years, and I love connecting with those people that Beachbody assigned to me. So I know you just bought the bod. I can see that that's what you bought. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to offer you two things. One, let me make sure that I connect you with the right program, because you just purchased bod and I'm not sure you know exactly what to do for your goals. So we could hop on a quick call and I could talk to you a little bit more about the right program. And the second thing, if that's not a fit because you already know what you're doing to get your results, is I want to invite you to my free group that I have. It's an ongoing group. And right now we're hitting up an awesome workout and there's great vibe. And then I keep going. And then I stop that and I say, great to connect with you, Sarah. And then I take that and I throw it in Messenger, or actually, sorry, that would be a new customer lead. I would send that in an email. I would take your email and I would send that through Gmail, or actually there's another way that you can do it through your back office. But I probably shouldn't have given that example because but I've been doing that a lot with people that have liked something. Hey, I'll shoot a little video. Hey, Sarah, thanks for liking my post. Were you just giving me like a lot of encouragement, which I really appreciate? Or is there something that you're struggling with your nutrition? Because I love that you're showing up and you're always giving me so much, so many likes and so many little messages. But I feel like we really haven't connected. And this is my job, is to take care of people and make sure I can deliver and get them across the finish line to their goals. So how can I help you? And I will stop it and I will really try to connect with them from the heart. If you guys are trying to do it polished and you're trying to get yourself all pretty and you do it in more than one take, it's not going to work. You got to just go from the heart. That's what I would say. That's been working for me.
Oh man, that's such a good tip. Do you have a video you would mind sharing with us?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why don't I put it in the thread? Or I'll somehow figure it out.
You can just put it in Team Happy and Fit because you're in there, right?
Yeah. I'm coming. Yeah. When's the retreat? And I want a shirt. Okay, yeah, absolutely. I will put an example.
Perfect, thank you. All right.
Well, and it might just be somebody that I'm messaging about